one of the things people have always wondered is what's the aftermath of that night, and what's it do for this failing actor? And if you would, Maestro, you spelled it out in the book.
Okay.
If you just read that paragraph right there that I marked.
Okay. The next day, Rick's adventures hit the news, and it became the talk of the town. It went from local news to the network evening news, and finally the world. Something about Jake Cahill killing 3 long-haired hippie bad guys with his flamethrower from the 14 Fists of McCluskey just seized the imagination. So pretty soon, the whole ghastly night of violence became heavy with symbolic weight, turning Rick, the former TV cowboy, into a folkloric hero of Nixon's silent majority.
I was sad to hear he went the Nixon silent majority route, but it makes sense with the anti-hippieism.
Yeah.
And so, people could have expected you could have done chapter after chapter about the rest of Rick's life. But you just boiled it down kind of there. And you let us know that he had this future. Was there ever a point at which you were going to explore more about that? Because it would be so tempting. Okay. I'm glad you didn't, by the way.
Yeah, not in this. I mean, look, there's yet another.
Here we go.
There's yet another thing I could do. I've written most of it. I just have the last few years. But I wrote just for the fun of it and to get it out of my system because I wanted to know everything that happened to Rick. I wrote the Films of Rick Dalton book.
Okay.
And
I love it.
Yeah, it's written by it's written by me, Quentin. All right. As if Rick is real, and they have the films of Charles Bronson, the films of Anthony Quinn. Well, it's done like that
with criticism in there as well.
Yeah, with
synopsis.
With synopsis and then some critical quotes from the time, and it goes through, and the book goes through every one of Rick's movies that he did, leading to the end of his career in 1988, I believe, and to every one of his episodic television shows, and. It's completely and thoroughly researched. Some of the episodes of some of the shows are made up, and some of the episodes are made up, but the majority of the episodes are actually real episodes.
Wow.
All right, but Rick didn't live, so he wasn't in them. But when you say, "Oh, okay, I guess he's the Larry Hagman character. Oh, I guess he's the Monty Markham character."
That's fascinating. I hope you do publish that one day.
It's all written. Well, I will tell you one thing that did happen to Rick that was actually pretty cool. Was at the start of the 80s, and there's also some famous movies that, for instance, he plays the Andrew Prine character in Grizzly.
Okay,
it was a big hit for him. And then he, but one of the things that happens is Cliff Booth, in 79 or 80, writes a vigilante exploitation movie for Rick. Rick reads it and thinks that we can do this better. So Rick rewrites it, and then the two of them are going to produce it, and then they get the money to produce the movie, and it's a vigilante movie called The Fireman, where it's a lead character was in the Vietnam War, very similar to the Exterminator. The character was in the Vietnam War. He became a cop, and then he started seeing this whole group of bad apple cops that are killing these guys and just completely corrupt.
Yeah.
And they end up killing his partner, played by a very young Sam Jackson. And so then Rick targets these bad cops, and he gets dressed up as the fireman. He has his flamethrower, and he goes and he burns them all down. And so Rick ends up directing the movie. Rick and Cliff produce it.
I love it.
And Cliff directs the action scenes. And it stars Rick and Jim Brown. Ralph Meeker's in it,
right?
And other people are. I think Jane Kennedy's in it. Linda Day George is in it. But anyway, the film becomes a big hit. It becomes a real big hit, and then that makes Rick gets a third career going into the 80s as a straight to video action star. And so he's going to Italy, and he's going to the Philippines, and he's doing all these. He's doing all the action film genres of the '80s, but the straight to video ones. So he's in Terminator ripoffs, he's in Rambo ripoffs, he's in Mad Max ripoffs, and he's starring in a whole plethora of those. But also he's the fireman now. So he makes a deal with Canon Pictures and does about 6 movies for Canon, including two Fireman sequels.
I love this.
And but now because he's a legitimate action star again. So when he does guest shots on television, he's getting the top rate.
Right.
So when he does an Airwolf, it's a big deal.
Right.
When he does a Chips, it's a
A-Team.
big deal. Yeah.
So you said his career ends in '88. Are you going to tell us why?
Well, he retires.
Oh, he retired.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's made
all right.
enough money now. He
I was
retired.